This
I'll
conference will
explain.
now be recorded.
Yes. So here, I'll be explaining about the what are the things you are going to we are going to learn, like what is the what you can expect in this course, and what are the things we are going to cover. I'll be explaining about uh, the course end to end and outcome of the course. I will be discussing about that here. Okay, cool. So when it comes to the this is Java full stack batch where our discussions will be like this program is completely designed for the beginners and those who want to have a language programming knowledge and they want to switch to the Java or they want to learn advanced concepts, okay, and they want to learn about the how deployment works and how the build tool works to learn about the completely as a full stack developer what are the things it's required, those things are going to be covered. Okay, our discussion will start with the first one is we are going to do the dev setup. Okay. So we will be doing the dev environment setup. We will be doing that here. Almost we are close to the what industry follows that the standards and what are the tools the industry uses that. So those tools we will be doing the installation, and our installation starts with the JDK. We are going to use the JDK 20. We will be using, and then we are going to use the IDE. So one IDE we are going to use it here. IntelliJ IDE we are going to use it here, and then we would be using the build tool is a Maven. So how to use the Maven and how the Maven works. So this is what we would be installing the first place. And at the same time, when it comes to the source code repository, how do you maintain your the source code and how do you push to the GitHub and like how to fetch the code when there is a merge conflict? How we are going to resolve that? Those all these things we will be learning, and for that we need to install the Git and then the cloud version you would be using the GitHub and GitHub. So you would be registering the one account with the GitHub. That's a cloud service provider. So you would be using the GitHub. We are going to use it here, and then here we need to install the. We are going to install the Docker desktop. We are going to install. So some of the services, what is required here, we are going to run through the Docker. We would be running, and the database are what are the other services required. We would be running the Docker containers. We are going to run that here, and we are going to install the once we install the Docker, where here we are going to use the PostgreSQL. We would be running through the PostgreSQL. You would be running by using the Docker. We are going to run that here. So these are the and one more is VS Code. Okay, so VS Code is one more IDE. So where when you are working with the UI, we will be using the Visual Studio Code. We are going to use it here. These are the basic setup we would be doing. Okay, we would require when you are learning the Java full stack. And another one is there's something called the DBOR. Uh, DBOR is a tool which will help us. RPG admin or DBOR you would be using, and which would be connecting with the PostgreSQL or any database. Like so, to do the basic setup, I'll be explaining about in the day one class itself. These are the tools you would be installing here. If it is already installed in your machine, that's well and good. If not, something if it is missing, then you would be installing this thing. And Docker desktop, it is not mandatory. Like no, when you are using the DB connections and all these things, we can use the cloud services. We can use it here. The cloud services like no Amazon AWS are we can use the basic to get the exposure about the how the cloud deployment happen, how to work with the cloud. We can use the render.com. So this is the render.com which will offer you almost all the services it is going to offer you. It is going to offer you the almost you can deploy your services, you can create a database instances. Like this is a free, it won't ask you any credit card details or anything here. As a beginner, or when you are exploring that, better you explore with the render.com, and you can take you can make use of the what are the free tiers they are providing. You can make use of that, and almost they will give you the 3 months DB service as a free, and after that, if you want to continue, you have to pay for that. Okay, this is the 3 months view. 3 months is a good time to learn the cloud services. We can use the render.com, you can use it. And only DB. Remaining things are free. In the free tier, you can deploy your applications, you can deploy your UI applications, all those things you can deploy here. There's some site name called the render.com. So just you can go through the render.com. So this is a place where you can sign in with them, and where you can use your GitHub account, and you are going to sign in with them. Okay, GitHub or Google account, you can use it, and you would be signing with them. And once you sign up with them, just I'm going to show you how it looks. So here it is asking the enter your username and the email, and then it's asking the password. Just register with them. And another one is, so ensure that you have a GitHub account. Okay, you have a GitHub account. Okay, here we are going to take it as a GitHub account. This GitHub account also, you create a one GitHub account, you create it here. You create a one GitHub account, you create. So these two things you can register in online. One is a render.com, another one is a GitHub. So this is a render.com services. We would be using that here. And our discussions will start with the like now, if we take it here, how this course will be continued. So as a Java developer, or any developer, like when you take that in developer, it can be a Java developer, or you may be Python developer, or .NET developer. So whenever you say that a developer, these are the skills you must have that here. One programming language, one database, and then UI. Like what are the UI web technologies, you must be aware of that. Now, when it comes to the core Java, so this is a place where you are going to learn core Java. When you take this here, you will be learning the programming fundamentals, like the object-oriented concepts and the basics. All the basic concepts you will be learning in here we are going to learn about the basics of the programming language. Yeah, basics we are going to learn that here. Then we are going to learn about the object-oriented programming, how it works. Then exceptions. Then we are going to take the collections, reflection. Okay, how the reflection works. So and then you will be learning the annotations, how the annotations works. Like this, there are multiple concepts we would be discussing about that. And these concepts are like whatever the fundamental concepts and whatever you are going to learn in core Java. This is a common for the Android developers and the Selenium developer. If you are going it as a test automation side, or if you are going it as a Android developer, so these concepts are, you must have the knowledge on this. And now you can decide that whether you want to go you want to go as an Android developer, or Selenium. You want to learn that here. So this is the must have the skills. Like the core concepts are, you must have the, if you have very good knowledge or some knowledge on the core Java, you can go and learn the advanced concepts, or you can easily switch from one programming language to the other programming language. You can switch here. Then once we're done with the basics of the core Java, and where we'll be introducing the something called the JUnit. Okay, JUnit is unit testing. And what are the unit testing you are going to? What are the programs you have written? You need to do the basic unit testing. You need to do that here. Once you are done with that unit testing, we will be learning about the SQL. This is a place where we are going to use the how to write the queries, simple queries to the complex queries. How do you like find the maximum salaries, and then how we are going to find the row level analytics. So those all the things we will be using in SQL. And this SQL we will be learning by using the Postgres SQL. We are going to use it here. Okay, Postgres we are going to use it here. The Postgres is the database we will be using here, and we will be learning about the SQL. You can take any database, and we would be using here Postgres SQL. You are going to use it here. And once you're done with the Postgres SQL, this is a place where we are going to learn about the JDBC. We are going to learn that here. JDBC, you are going to learn that here. Now here we our database is running somewhere. This is a place where my database is running, and my database. I want to connect my database. This database I want to connect through the my Java program. I need to connect that here. So this database I want to connect with the Java program. We need to connect the my database with the Java program. We need to connect it here. So here we would be using here. This is my Java application which needs to talk to this database. For that, we would be using the interface, like in order to connect with the database, like your application calls, it needs to send to the database, and database calls we need to send back to the your application. Okay, database calls we need to send to the application. We can take it here. Okay, application we are going to take this here. We'll use it this way. Yeah, cool. So in order to talk to the database to the your application to the database to the your application, here we are going to use the interface called the JDBC. We would be using that here. So by using JDBC, you would be interacting with your databases. You are going to interact here. So underlying can be any database. It can be a MySQL. It can be a Oracle. It can be a DB2. It can PostgreSQL. So this Java application, what are the Java application I'm going to take it here? This Java application needs to talk to the databases. For that, we must know about the JDBC. So what is JDBC and how to use this JDBC, how you are going to interact with the database, you would be discussing about that here. So before you are going to that, here we would be spending some time on the SQL, uh, where you will learn about the what is a DDL, what is a DML, how like TCL, like what are the commands they have given, and at the same time what are the data types SQL is having, what is a joins and what is a view. Okay, then you would be learning about the row level analytics, or we can call it as a Windows functions, and commonly asked questions, interview point of view, what are the questions is asked. We would be discussing in the SQL. And SQL, we are going to cover almost all the concepts by using the Postgres SQL. We are going to use it here. And this is a place where we would be using the most widely popularly used database client. That's a DBOR. We are going to use it here. Okay, these all these things will ensure that uh, like now what are the concepts we are going to cover here. So this is we are done with the programming fundamentals, or we can say that no entire core Java we covered. Like so, as a core Java developer or Java developer or any developer, you can say that one programming language knowledge, the SQL, and then database. Okay, one database knowledge. Database knowledge is nothing but the SQL. So you are going to get exposure about the so writing the programs and like what are the conventions we need to follow and like all the industry standards whatever we follow. I'll be introducing here. When we are learning the core Java, I would be introducing you to the Maven. What is this Maven and why do you need Maven? So we will be learning about the Maven. We are going to learn about that. From the day one, we would be creating the Maven projects. We will be creating a Maven project. We will not create a like the simple projects. We will not create it here. We would start with the Maven. We are going to start with that here. So how this Maven project is created and what is the advantage of Maven? Why do you need to use the Maven? I'll be explaining about that. Okay. So these are the basic things we would be learning in Core Java. These all concepts will be covered in Core Java. So far, any questions, Tess? Does anyone has any questions? Does anyone has any questions? Any questions? No? Please can someone respond so that I know that you are listening the session. Yeah, questions. Once you are done with that, we are going to learn about the UI. So this is a place where we would be introducing you to the HTML and CSS, JavaScript. Okay. Then you are going to learn about the Bootstrap. Bootstrap you would be using that here, and then you would be introducing to the Angular. So these are the concepts which we are going to deal with that. Like from the basics, we are going to deal with that. Okay, from the basics, we would be going here. What is HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Bootstrap and Angular? We are going to the from the fundamentals, like so how the HTML page and what are the elements of the HTML page. So CSS, JavaScript, Bootstrap, and Angular. Before going to the Angular, we would be discussing about the another programming language called the TypeScript. Okay, how the TypeScript is going to be used. Then because the Angular is developed in TypeScript, so we are going to learn about the TypeScript. Then we'll start with the Angular. Now, once you are done with this, so UI side, when we are once you are done with that, then we are going to learn about the advanced concepts. These advanced concepts will start with the Spring Boot. We can say that here. The Spring Boot, we will be learning about the Spring Boot, and here we are going to learn about the the Spring framework. The Spring framework, if you take that here, the Spring framework is we are going to use the latest version. We are going to use it here, and there are a lot of modules are available in Spring, and we are going to learn about this core, AOP, MVC. Then we are going to learn about the REST. Okay, then we are going to learn about the JDBC, Spring JDBC, APA, and security. Security, we are going to learn about that here. Then we are going to see it as profiles. Okay, profile, Spring profile. We are going to learn about the Spring profile, and then we are going to once we discussed all these concepts, Spring core concept are AOP, MVC, REST, JDBC, JPA, security, profile. So these are the main modules as a Java developer. You must when you are using the Spring, you must have these skills here. And once you're done with this Spring framework, then what are the things we learned? So then we are going to develop applications. We are going to develop that here. What kind of applications we would be developing here? We will take some simple scenarios. We will take some scenarios and we'll collect the data from the Kaggle.com or somewhere. We'll take it here, and by using this all these concepts, we are going to develop the application. We are going to develop that here. And when you are doing this application development, there are other things we must aware of that here. There are other things we must aware of that, like how to use the Jenkins. Okay, then here how we are going to use the Sonar Cube. Okay, what is the Sonar Cube? How we are going to use it here? How are you going to use the Jacoco plugins? We will be learning about the Jacoco plugins. We are going to learn about that. Yeah. So, what are the applications you build? And in order to learn about the CI/CD jobs, we would be using the Jenkins. And whether you have written the code, it is follows the all the industry standards and the best practices whether it's followed or not. We will analyze our code by using the Sonar Cube, and Jacoco will be used for the to check that how much code coverage is done, whether you have covered the all the what you can say the corner cases you have taken care, the code coverage, like how much test cases it has been covered for your code, that will be uh, that will be checked by using the Jacoco plugin. So these are the things you will be learning, and during this process you will be learning about the external files. There are external files. In these external files, you will be learning about the first one is a JSON. The second one is we are going to learn about the CSV files. Then we are going to learn about the property files, and the fourth one is AML files. Okay, these are the commonly used the file formats we would be using in the application. So when it comes to the JSON, how are you going to read the JSON data in your Java application? How do you convert the JSON object to the Java object and Java object to the JSON? We will be learning about that here. And the CSV, when it comes to the what are the common standard format? Like now, when you are getting that as a data you are going to get it in CSV files, or you want to export your data to the CSV format, and you want to do that here. How are you going to read the data from the CSV? How are you going to export the data into the CSV? We would be learning about that, and the configurations will be done in two ways. One is the property files, another one is the AML files. The property files are which is going to be maintained like a key and value page. How are you going to like no, where are you going to use the property files? And the property files, when it comes to the complex data types, it is very difficult to manage in the property files. That's where we would use the AML. How to use the AML and how to work with the AML. And when you're using this uh, the, the files, we would be getting the exposure about the how are you going to use the third party libraries. So like now, when you're developing the Java application, with the JDK alone, you cannot develop the entire application. We need to deal with the lot of third-party libraries. When you are working with the JSON, we are going to use the Jackson library. When you are working with the CSV, you would be working with the Apache Apache library. We are going to use that here. Apache Common. We are going to use it here. When it comes to the ML, we are going to use the Snake ML. We are going to use that library. And when it comes to the Excel, Apache POI is the other library. We are going to use these third-party libraries, and we would be reading the JSON data. Like no, so the Jackson is the one of the most widely used library, and by using the Jackson, how you like no, what are the JSON data you got it, how you will be converting into your Java object. So these things you will be learning. Okay. So these are the things, main things we would be covering in this Java full stack course. Like you are going to start from the basics to the advanced concepts, and creating the project, and like dealing with the external files, and deploying into the cloud, and running the Jenkins jobs, and how you are going to check that your the Sonar Cube, the source code, whether you follow the best practices or not, or like checking that code quality, that we'll be using the Sonar Cube. And if there is any issue with the Sonar Cube, how to fix that, I'll be showing that here. So these are the things you can expect that. And on top of that, here you are going to introduce to the Python fundamentals. Like now, as a Java developer, why do you need Python? There are certain things you can do it in Python quickly, and especially when you are doing the data transformation or cleaning up of the data, when you are doing that here. So we could do in Python very quickly. We can do that here. Like now, how we are going to we will introduce the Python fundamentals, how the Python works, and where exactly Python can be used, and the concepts of the Python fundamental concepts we will be introducing. And at the same time, in a real time applications, when you are working, where exactly this Python we are going to use it, we'll take the 2 3 scenarios, and what are the Python knowledge we learned, we are going to use that, we are going to apply that knowledge and to solve those problems. And now here, how these classes are going to be conducted. These classes are going to be a completely hands-on session. So the day one, when we start, we would we would start with the creating the one multi-module project. Maven project will create a multi-module project. Will create, and what are the code we are going to do that here? What are the code we are going to do that? Okay, let me. Okay, so I'm going to use the. Suppose if we are taking the. Okay, we'll take it as the One of the previous batch code, I'm going to take it here. So this is the previous batches. If I'm taking the code, okay, cool. Here, if you take it here, this is a code. If I'm looking at here, open in a folder, Explorer. Okay, here you are going to create a one project. Suppose if you are learning the core Java, this is what, like now I can get it here. This entire code I can get it here. So open. I'm going to do this open. Git. We are going to take it as a, this is a batch. If I get it here, this is the project. If you look at this project, we have a different things. Uh, the core Java when you are learning here, learning core Java. So this core Java when you are learning here, like you will have the okay the day one to like now what are the things day one we are discussing here. You will be maintaining here all the example day two examples like this. You are going here and then you will be developing the one the small applications you are going to develop here. Suppose if you take that here, I learned the some basics I learned here. How I'm going to apply that, the basic knowledge I'm going to apply to learn to develop the application. Suppose if we take the quiz manager, okay, this is one of the simplest example, small application. So the quiz, if we take that here, the quiz manager, it is asking the enter your name. I'm going to enter my name is Krish, and it is asking the hey, what is the quiz you want to take it here? I want to take the Java quiz. And when I say that here, hello Krish, welcome to quiz world. Your quiz is going to start in a few seconds and it is asking the question. What is the Java keyword used to create an instance of the class? I'm going to say that as a something I'm randomly I'm saying here. Hi Chris, please wait. Result will be shown in a few seconds. Now here quiz, total questions is of 4, number of correct answers is 3. So thank you for taking quiz with us. Okay, this is what a small application which is developed in Java. It's developed here. Like to work with this quiz, here we have a different quizzes we are having here. One is a GK quiz, which is in a JSON format, and the Java quiz we are going to take it here, which is in a Java format. And here you would be applying the concept whatever we learned. Like now, we'll by the time we will be introducing to the how to read the JSON data, how we are going to convert this JSON data into the your Java objects, those concepts will be introduced, and you are going to apply those concepts. And finally, if you look at here, my question will have the question info. We have got the list of ID. The question will have the one question, options, and answer. And this is a quiz service where we are going to start your quiz. We are going to start your quiz. We are going to start it here, and we have a two quiz files we are having here based on the selection of that quiz. Okay, based on the selection of the quiz, you would be picking the we would be picking the questions from the we are going to pick the questions from the user. We are going to pick that here if the based on the user choice. Okay, you like you are going to iterate over that, like all the get quiz topics. If you send the topic name, it is going to read the JSON data, and finally it is going to give the quiz questions, quiz topics. It is going to give it here. This quiz topic will have the list of questions. List of questions. It will have it here. Okay, don't worry even if you don't understand these things completely. But like now, as a developer, the requirement is very simple. Hey, I have a multiple quizzes, and my user can select the one of the quiz. He can select it here, and based on the selection, you should load the data from this, and quiz has to be conducted, and you are going to show that here. What is this result? These are one of the simplest application. We are going to do that here, and the same thing. We are going to take the IPL stats. Okay, IPL stats is what it does that here. We'll take it here. Here, if you take this here IPL data, uh, player details.json. Yeah, here we have got the each player and what is the amount he has paid, and this is the entire JSON data we are having here, and we are going to do the basic statistics. We are going to do that here. So in this basic statistics, what I did was some things I'll be asking you to develop that here. Like now, here we have done the team names and the team stats. Okay, two methods and then 3 for the role stats, 4 for the search, maximum paid player by role, player of the given team. So then we are going to run this here. Okay, what do you want to get it here? Suppose if I enter the one, it should give me the all the team names. These are the team names which we are going to get it here. And if I do the second one, the team statistics, you can get it here. RCB has spent this is the amount they have spent on the all the players. The minimum amount is a 20 lakhs and maximum is a 17 lakhs. And average amount is this year. Player they have got the 21 players. These statistics, we have a player information. We have a list of all the players we are having here. We have a list of players we are having in this JSON file we are having here. And by reading that JSON file, we are going to get the data, and finally we are going to find you are going to find the statistics of the entire team. You are going to find it here. How to do that here? This is a place where we are going to use the collections. You will get the data from the file system. You are going to get the data, and then we need to do some computations. We need to do that here, and the temporarily we have to hold all these objects. These are places where we would be using the collections. And in the Java 8, in the collections, they have introduced a lot of new concepts they have introduced. How to work with that, we will be discussing during the collections. These all examples will be discussed in the collections when you're learning about the collections. Okay, here if you take it here, the collections concept, it will go like, no, if you're taking here the basics of the collections, how the collections works, okay, how the filters, and then like you know, the basic examples. We would be discussing about the basic examples we are going to discuss. List iterator examples. The fundamentals we will be discussing once we are done with the fundamentals. Okay, once we are done with the fundamentals, then day 23, 24, 25, we learn about the uh, collections, and what are the collections knowledge we have learned. We are going to apply, and we will be developing the one application we are going to. Similarly, you have an invoice generation application. What is this invoice generation application is? Okay, invoice manager, if I'm taking here, okay, so this invoice generator, we have a, let me run this here, we will get to know. Cool. Here we have a invoice ID, customer name, bill amount, tax amount, and total amount. Cool. Here if you take it here, there's something called the customer.json. Okay, you can take it here. This is a customer. This is a customer name, customer ID, customer name, bill amount, and country. Which country is, like, no, based on the country, the tax will be applied on that. Based on the country, tax is going to be applied. And there is something called the currency.json. There is a country code, there is a currency symbol, the country code and currency symbol, country code and currency symbol we are having here. Now, what we are going to do that here, we have a customer usage data, we got it here. What is his bill amount and everything, we got it here. Now, while displaying that, we need to display the customer name, bill amount, what is the tax amount, and what is the total amount, and with the currency symbol, we should show that here. Here we have a currency code or country code. So for this country code, we need to find the what is the currency symbol. Then finally, we are going to display all this information. Yeah, for this customer, what is the amount and which country is, based on that we have to calculate the tax. And when it comes to the tax also, it's depending on the different countries. Suppose if we take the Singapore, we are taking it as a 0.3, and when you take the currency for the US, then it is a 0.5, and the currency for the tax for the India, it would be different. And where we are going to, like, depends on the country code, we are going to pick the India or US, like, what is the country code you are passing. It will give the tax provider, it is going to provide that here. By using the tax provider, you would be calculating the tax, and at the same time, based on the currency, based on the country code, based on the country code, you are going to get the, okay, based on the country code, you are going to get the when I'm generating this invoice, Okay, total amount equal to currency symbol. This currency symbol we are going to get currency details. If we are passing the country code, you would be getting the currency details. You would be getting the currency details, and by using that currency details, you would be displaying the currency symbol for all these things. Like now, bill amount, I'm going to show currency symbol, tax amount, and the total amount also. You are going to display the currency symbol. So here we are going to use the design patterns. What is a factory design pattern? How we are going to use the factory design pattern? We will be learning about that here. Like this, you would be doing the multiple projects. You would be doing when you are working with the when you are learning the uh, like so core Java concepts. Yeah, and at the same time you would be using the, suppose you are learning the this is a one module, and here we are learning about the JDBC. So how are you going to connect with the database and like this IPL stats? The same example we are going to do by using the JDBC. You are going to do that here. How are you going to write the SQL queries, and how you are going to, okay, top paid players you want to get it here. How are you going to use those queries, and how do you get the top paid players? So this is one of the simple example, or we can take it as a contact book. This is a place where we are going to do this completely like CRUD operations we are going to perform. Like how we are going to select the players and search the players, add, delete, update. How are you going to do that? You'll get exposure about this, and at the same time, how are you going to write the test case for that? How are you going to do the test case? Like this is a place where you are going to write in the unit test case. How you are going to do that here? We'll be introducing in the when you are doing the application. So here we have written only one test case. We have written here like uh, we want to test that code whether it is working or not. We need to test that here. That we will be running in a test case. And at the same time, I'll be dealing with the learning JUnit. How are you going to do this JUnit test cases? Okay, so I think we haven't done anything there. Yeah, good. Learning Spring. So this is a place where you are going to learn about the Spring concepts, okay, the basics of the Spring, and how this dependency injection works. And there are different types of configurations. How we are going to do the XML Java based configuration. So this is what. Okay. And at the same time, Spring Boot, when you're starting the Spring Boot application. So to do application, which is developed here, how we are going to write the to do controllers and the to do applications, what are the things, DAO, domain objects, service, how we are going to use it here. So here, what I'm trying to say that here, uh, we will create a multi-module projects, and what are the module we are going to learn, we will be creating it as a separate module in that project, and the same module we are going to push to the remote repository. This repository will be made it available for you in the Git. You can clone this project, and then you can follow these examples. You can follow it here. Suppose if you're taking here when you're learning about the HTML, what are the things you're going to learn about that here? What kind of projects you're going to develop? Just let me explore. Here we are going to use this here. Show in like now here we can open the command prompt. This is code dot Visual Studio Code. I will be opening here. Okay, here if I'm taking here, what is the applications you would be developing when you're learning the opening with the live preview server? I'm going to open here. Okay, this is a live preview server. We'll get familiar with the live preview server. So open with live preview server. Okay, it's going to start. Good. Okay, it started. Okay, live preview server is going to start. It's going to open in. Yeah, it's nowhere. It's open. Yeah, it's open here. Good. news heading .html page. We are going to open this here. Okay, here we are going to use the news heading. News underscore heading .html. News, the name of that file. Yeah, news heading, news underscore heading .html. Okay, otherwise we can open with the live preview server. We are going to open. You can select this is one of the simple application we are developing here. How to communicate with the API. So suppose if I am taking the news is from the India, and if I'm taking the health or sports, if I'm taking here, this is a news which is from the India. Suppose if I'm selecting from the news items from the US sports, if I'm taking here, these are news items which are from the. So this information which we are getting from the API. There is something called the news API, news API.org. These are people who will provide the top news items. They are going to provide it here. They will be providing the top news items. They will be providing, and by using those top news items, so JSON data, we are going to convert into. Suppose if I'm inspecting this element, if I'm going to the network, if I reload this here, this is a call it is making here. This is a call it is going to make it here. Uh, News API organization, and what are the response it is getting here? You can see that here response it is getting like this. This is what response it is getting here. And from this response, the way we want is we have taken the what are the fields we required. We would be taking that, and finally we are going to create a simple UI, and where we are going to show the news items. We are going to show that here. So these are the some of the sample applications you will be developing the when you are working with the UI. Like no, each thing we are going to deal like a project. Like what are the concepts you learn, we are going to apply like so small projects we are going to apply that, and we'll be developing these small applications you will be developing that here. So but every concept you will be going with the same way we are going to discuss about that here. So UIWS. Okay, so these are the basic concept of the like UI concepts whatever you learn here. These are the fundamental concepts like for HTML when you're learning here how to create a profile and the player information, player profile. So this is some of the simple examples we can take it here. Okay. So this is what you would be learning throughout this program, and everything the source code will be the end of the class. The source code will be pushed to the GitHub, and from the GitHub you can take it as a reference. And if you create your own GitHub account, and if you are coding that, and if there is anything need to be reviewed and you want to verify with me, if you add me as a collaborator, I will be reviewing your code. So these are the things you can expect the Java full stack. Okay. Any questions? Does anyone has any questions? Yeah. Do you have any questions? Yeah, I'm more or less I'm done. Whatever I I just we are going to cover in this course I explained. If you have any questions, I'll take your questions. Otherwise, more or less we are done with the demonstration. Raj, Srikar,
So,
Chetan.
will be uh, going to recorded classes or only live? So, I mean, can you provide us a recording classes or
Yeah. See,
this will be
what are the things we are going to provide you is recording sessions, the source code, all the classroom examples with the source code we are going to provide you. So once
okay?
we are done with the session, within an hour or 2 hours, you can expect the
Okay.
recording in your email. Yeah.
Okay. After the class, you will provide recording, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when will the course start, sir? Thursday, right?
Yeah, they will inform you. So when it's going
Okay,
to start.
okay.
Yeah, it would be very soon, maybe maybe
Every
yeah.
what is the time, sir?
Morning 6 o'clock, 6 to 7:20, 1 hour 20 minutes
Okay,
will be.
okay, every day, right?
Yeah, every day, Monday to Saturday.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, sir.
Yeah. Thank you guys, and we will
Hello.
see you tomorrow. Yeah. Go ahead, please.
Hello. Hi, sir. Sir, actually, frankly saying is I belong to totally non-IT sector. So, like, I'm from commerce stream. So, does you take the classes from the initial? Like, there are certain terminologies like where we cannot follow.
That's okay. Today class, this is a demo class. Just I'm giving the overview of the what are the things we are going to learn and how the things are going to be developed. And we will
Yeah.
be going to the from the fundamentals, like now the programming fundamentals we will be discussing. How
Okay.
what like dev environment setup. Then we are going to learning about the core Java. This is a place where we are going to introduce about the how the loops work and what is the program and how to compile this program, how to run this program. So the fundamentals we will be going through that.
So, do we have simultaneously the theory and the practical classes?
Yes, theory and
Okay.
so we don't have the lab session separate and the like theory session separate. Like just we'll discuss about the topic and we'll jump it into the coding. How where you are going to use those topics will be explained about.
Okay. Thank you.
So, thank you guys and thanks for your questions. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, or tomorrow or whenever the batch is going to start. Yeah, thank you guys.